Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Silver Slayer. Thanks for tuning in and welcome. Gold and silver are in the green. Prices have stabilized and at pretty high prices. $24 silver, that's the new normal. If I would have told you that last year, you would not have believed me. And a lot of people might say $24, that's not high. It actually is. But people are desensitized to that $30 price in August and forget that it was $11 in March, or looking at the price last year was drastically lower. So $24 is still a good price for silver, especially during today's times. In the last couple of years, $24 silver is a very, very good start. Now, this video is going to take a much different turn. This is talking about precious metal confiscation, just some rumors, lies, myths, just people putting a lot of fear and speculation out there, and I want to cover it all. So, you never want to blindly invest, right? You need to stay in the loop. It's critical as an investor to keep updated on a daily basis of what's happening, especially with so much information, so many things changing, especially with someone else in office. So you got to be subscribed. Make sure you're subscribed, because on a daily basis, I will keep you guys in the loop of what's happening and what you should do. Now, this video is going to be very, very detailed. I'm going to talk about a lot of different things that if you don't know, you should know, so pay attention. Precious metals have a bountiful history to provide security in times of uncertainty. We expect silver to rise towards $50. Even Seeking Alpha's calling $50 silver. Citibank, I made a video a couple days ago talking about $100 silver in the next year. Goldman Sachs. These respected and pretty accurate sources are calling for extremely high silver prices. Do I think they're going to be that high? I don't know. Anything could happen, especially, if we want to talk about crazy silver prices. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're living in crazy times. The daily chart is bullish and shows strength due to the recent re-entry into the trend channel. Stay long and add to your silver positions to protect your wealth. And that's definitely what it is. We work so hard for our dollars. It's so sad that people spend lifetimes saving their money in a bank account, and it's just rotting away. What you can buy with that money in 10, 15 years is going to be drastically lower. So markets do not like uncertainty, and that's definitely true. Fear, uncertainty, and doubt will eat people alive. Tight elections one more time provide for that uncertainty. Even when the topic will be resolved, we find ourselves in times where uncertainty is spelled in capital letters. 2020 has slowly but steadily eroded one feeling certain and secure, and that's why you got to invest from your mind, not your heart. You got to take the emotion out of it. Already from a psychological perspective alone, it is useful to nourish one's lack of feeling content. Precious metals have a bountiful history to provide for those good feelings if tucked under one's mattress. And I always try to bring faith to the channel when times are looking bad, when the prices are looking bearish. I try to get you guys to remember the bigger picture. Remember that silver is extremely undervalued, and it won't always be that way, right? Glass half full, not glass half empty. Most people will say precious metals are bearish, bad investment, not thinking ahead that the price won't always be here, so get it for cheap. There is speculation of confiscation of physical precious metal ownership like we had in 1933 with gold. Now, we had the Executive Order 6102, where governments will put out statements, laws that you need to turn your gold in. Now, it's not as extreme or severe that people probably think. They're not going to bust down your door and steal your precious metals, which that has happened, though. And actually, this has happened in America several different times, and across the world even more. I've made videos covering this in the past. I'll try to go through my hundreds of videos and try to find the video where I talk specifically about this if you want to check it out. So, almost all speculators had either physical precious metals in their possession or had it tied to their investments. We had a gold standard until 1971 where one could trade one's fiat currency into physical tangible. It is estimated today that only 1 out of 100 people holds physical precious metals. This makes today's situation vastly different and, as such, much less likely to face a law confiscating your precious metal holding. Highly unlikely. And any time that has happened, they do it for a reason. It's when the governments, when America is in a very tight spot, usually after a depression. Something, when things are really bad, they ask people to turn in their gold and silver and they will pay you. Now, here's the chart showing great support, right? Great support. People know that $25, $24 silver is a steal. It's the new normal. We're not going to see $19 silver anymore. We're not going to see any of that. And if we do, it will be extremely short-lived. Trust me. You find above a monthly chart where we analyzed volume over the last 10 years on silver. Here, as well as in SLV, the results are stronghold of the $20 price level for support. Right below that, we find the $20 support level. Fiat currency denominations of 1, 2, 5, 10, 20, 50, $100 are deeply ingrained in our minds. Consequently, they are natural support resistance zones from a psychological level. That's the thing. It's like micro analyzing. We gotta take a step back and look at the bigger picture, ladies and gentlemen. Especially when so much news is going on, it's so easy to get distracted, to really branch off and lose focus of the main objective, right? The 10-year decline of price showed this year in March a strong reversal pattern. That's the yellow circle. Where are we at? So a quick drop in price from $20 quickly reversed. Prices have more than doubled from their lows, and volume confirm this reversal. We see prices at highs of 2011, $49.81, and would take partial profits. So shortly before, since the round number of $50 would also function as resistance overhead. So they're calling this $49.81 level, but they're saying $50 would be a lot of resistance. And that's because in the last, in 1980 and 2011, that's where it held. So there's a lot of resistance there. So if you want to keep continuing on, they go into the charts, right? They go into a lot of, what's happening. But I'm going to wrap this article up. I do have another article I want to share as well. So volatile but safe. History rhymes, but doesn't always need to repeat itself. Some technicians insist that what has happened in the past will begin happening in the future. We care to differ when facts alter probabilities and reoccurrence. At this point of uncertainties blossoming like weeds, we find a step in the physical ownership of silver to be one of the most prudent ways to protect your wealth and your sanity. And this is a great point, and I'm really glad they brought this up, because this is going to be, I'm going to stay here for a second and talk about this, and put this in the comments what you think about this. Yes, history repeats itself, but that's for things that are standard. Precious metals, the economy is not standard whatsoever. The dollar, its value is much different than it was 10 years ago, than it was 20 years ago, 30 years ago. So the common denominator is ever shifting, and it's getting worse. So you can't go off of what happened 10, 20 years ago, because the dollar was much stronger, times were much different. So nowadays, if you look at history and try to repeat it, you have to incorporate the variables, the ever-changing variables. So now the dollar's much weaker. 1980, things were much different. In 2008, things were much different. The dollar was stronger, billion-dollar stimulus, right? It led to $50 silver. Now we have trillion-dollar stimulus, a much weaker dollar, a global pandemic, and a U.S. presidential election with a green energy standard throwing more trillions, pushing silver demand up. Try to compare that and say that it's going to repeat and not have more severe consequences. If that led to $50 silver in 2011, imagine what it could lead silver's price today. So here's another article. Silver forecast markets likely to offer more value soon. So there's a lot of, and this is from Daily Forex, a lot of people see, they see through the craziness, they see through the chaos, they see through the noise, and they get it. And I'm glad, because I want as many people as possible to make profits, right? I don't want to be greedy. I mean, yeah, the precious metals community, especially the silver community, is relatively small compared to stocks and stuff, but I still want people to make money. I still want people to protect their wealth. I don't want to see people, getting shut out or getting scammed, or basically getting scammed by the government, or, just losing all this money that they worked hard for. I want as many people as possible to reap the rewards Financial freedom is the end result, right? So this ultimately comes down to the central banks and whether or not they will flood the markets with liquidity, which will result in people running back towards precious metals. Silver markets were hammered by Pfizer during the trading session on Monday, breaking through the 50-day EMA from far above. And we see this is what happened. This is what happened. This is when Monday came. A drug company named Pfizer announced they have a 90% cure rate or a vaccine. So hearing that, people just assumed that the virus is going to end. Not knowing, right? Not reading the full article. They read the headlines, but if they would have read, there's only 50 million doses that's going to be distributed. I don't know if that's through America or the entire world. Regardless, that's a very small number, and it's going to be hard to, distribute it, blah, blah, blah. So there was euphoria. The title was perfect. They called it vaccine euphoria because they assumed that everything's going to be okay, but now people are starting to realize the reality of the situation. So markets are stabilizing. Now, the market was extraordinarily affected by Pfizer's announcement that they have a vaccine which could work over 90% of the time. So we're going to hear noisy trading in markets that are thinner, such as silver, will continue to be difficult at times. And thinner meaning it's a much smaller market, so it's much easily or heavily affected than a big market like gold. The silver market formed a large candlestick reaching down below the $24 level. However, we are starting to find some support. So we will turn things back around. Looking at this chart, it is only a matter of time before the buyers return. Even if we drop down below $22.75 level, which has been a massive support, the 200-day EMA underneath could offer support near the $21.50 level. I could not picture silver going that low anymore. Too many buyers. Especially with new candidate in office, with everything, the pandemic getting worse, with all these articles coming out, I could not picture that. I couldn't picture that whatsoever. And if silver does get that low, I would be buying it up like crazy because $20 silver compared to $24, yeah, it's a couple dollar difference, but you can get a lot more silver. I mean, that's nearly a fifth of what silver's entire price is. So that adds up. This ultimately comes down to the central banks and whether or not they will flood the market with liquidity, which will result in people running back towards precious metals. We had a larger move with the risk-off trader covering positions because we had the possibility of a vaccine, and those traders have clearly left the market. However, the longer-term trend still favors the upside. See, yes, they left the market now, but once these $1 trillion of stimulus comes in and the dollar gets hurt, they're going to come right back. As soon as stock markets, see, they went from precious metals to stocks, but as soon as stocks start getting hurt, especially when the stimulus comes out, they're going to come right back. So it's short-lived, very short-lived, and next year we're going to see a lot of new investors, a lot of new eyes, a lot of new people coming in, or at least in the spotlight that are debating, and it's going to get very bullish. A lot of volume is going to come in next year. I already know it. Trust me, right now, you're an early bird. Next year, you're going to see a lot of new silver stackers, a lot of new people in the precious metals world coming in. So pat yourself on the back because you definitely got in before the curve, and that's going to extremely benefit you. You can make a longer term argument for precious metals to go higher under a lot of scenarios, and that's what I've been talking about. No matter who won the election, no matter which direction, it's definitely bullish for precious metals regardless. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out, but I remain bullish and am looking for dips as potential buying opportunities on short-term charts. And that's exactly what we're talking about. Buy the dips, sell the tops. Most people buy the tops, sell the dips because they're panicky, investing emotionally, not rationally. You got to stay rational, level-headed. You got to be on your A game at all times. And that's why you got to be subscribed to at least a channel like mine. Because if you're not, and you're just kind of going off your gut or just looking at the price and not knowing why the price is affected that way, you're not really investing logically. I mean, you're blindly investing. You're like throwing your money in and saying, I hope it sticks. I hope it goes up. You got to know why it's going up. You got to understand what's happening, and then you can get an accurate idea of an accurate decision, or at least a much smarter decision on what you need to do. right? It's called a silver stacking strategy, not a silver stacking, right? Silver stacking blind throw off and hope it sticks. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy this video, if you thought it was educational, informational, at least entertaining, make sure to smash the like button. I post daily videos, 2-3 videos a day, giving you guys the inside scoop. I'll always keep you guys in the loop of what's happening, the most relevant articles. Both these articles were written today. Everything I cover on this channel is the most up-to-date news that you guys need to know on a daily basis. This is definitely the most quality content that you gotta know. You have to. It's critical to know the stuff I talk about on this channel on a daily basis. So anyways, thanks for tuning in. Make sure to smash the like button. This was Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.